Show yourself, Jedi.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 5 video. We finally got Ahsoka Tano, and she teased so many other characters that are now coming to the series eventually, so we'll explain everything. There were so many Easter eggs and references to all the older stuff. They even referenced some deep cuts from the Old Republic, so if you're new to the channel, I'm doing videos for all the episodes. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. We'll do a new giveaway for Disney Plus memberships. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and post all your favorite Easter eggs from the episode on the video. Careful for spoilers for the episode if you haven't seen it yet, because we'll be talking about everything, including the stuff that they foreshadow and characters that they mention during the episode that we probably won't see till a little bit later this season, or possibly not even till future seasons. I'm going to number the video a little bit differently as we go through Easter eggs in the episode and big plot points, just because there were so many things. This needs to be like a top 50 video when it's normally a top 10. But just starting at the beginning of the episode, the title was The Jedi. So a lot of people pointed to this and they're like, well, Ahsoka's not a Jedi. Why are they calling the episode The Jedi? The titles of the episodes usually reference a number of different things within the context of each episode. So the Jedi title wasn't just meant to be a reference to Ahsoka. It was meant to be a reference to Grogu, whose name we got. I'll talk about that in a second too. Baby Yoda finally has a name. It was also a reference to the Jedi Order and the other Force-sensitive Jedi out in the galaxy that survived the Purge that Ahsoka talks about later in the episode. There is another Make All the Empire Strikes Back references. There were many of them during the episode. But the episode begins with an Ahsoka fight with all this panic shouting in this town surrounding the Force planet of Corvus that Mando is headed to. She's running around taking out Imperials with her dual white lightsabers from Star Wars Rebels. Remember, she lost her original lightsabers that Anakin Skywalker gave her back at the end of Clone Wars. She fought and defeated a Sith Inquisitor, then purified his lightsaber crystals and used those to make her new twin white lightsabers. Rosario Dawson looked fantastic. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect. There's been so much fan art of her as Ahsoka. A lot of it was pretty close. The episode was written and directed by Dave Filoni, who helped create the Ahsoka character with George Lucas for the Clone Wars. And if you notice the artwork at the end of the episode over the credits, the concept art of Ahsoka for the episode is actually drawn to look like Ashley Eckstein, who's the voice of Ahsoka on the Clone Wars and Rebels. But they give her just a slightly older look because she's supposed to be in her early 40s during the events of the Mandalorian series. She's actually not that old. And when you think about it, her species lives to a couple hundred years old pretty easily, so she's even younger than she actually seems. But because she's one of the most powerful Force users in the galaxy after Order 66, she takes down the Imperials pretty easily. At no point during the episode, even during the final boss fight, did it seem like she struggled that much. We get Michael Biehn. He's our next celebrity cameo. He's just playing a regular mercenary. He's not playing a pre-existing Star Wars character, and they didn't give him an actual name during the episode, his character. They just refer to him as a mercenary. Notice the architecture on top of the battlements here. This piece is actually just a reference to this original Ralph McQuarrie concept art from Tatooine. They give Ahsoka a clear setup for her "I'm no Jedi" line from Star Wars Rebels. It's one of the more iconic lines that she had on that TV show. When the Magistrate literally calls her a Jedi, she doesn't say anything though, they just kind of hold back on that. The Magistrate's name is Morgan Elsbeth. She's actually a brand new character that they created for the TV show. Obviously, the way they fit her into the pre-existing canon means that she was around for the Imperial era of the original movies and even back during the Clone Wars, because they say that she got her origin story during the Clone Wars. But the actress who's playing her is actually a real-life stunt woman who's worked on a bunch of big productions, so that's how they were able to pull off that big fight scene at the end with the Beskar spear. They give you a pretty easy setup for the episode. Ahsoka wants information from her. I'll talk about that in a second too, because that's one of the biggest teasers for future plot that they dropped during the episode. But the whole idea is that the Empire is just mining this world, the Force planet of Corvus, for its resources, just sort of strip mining it slowly. They've taken over the town, and they're just keeping the townspeople hostage, threatening them if Ahsoka doesn't go away. Mando arrives at the planet Corvus with Grogu. They set up the moment with the control knob and him using the Force that they pay off later in the episode with the Jedi training montage. Given some of the reveals later in the episode, now it makes more sense why they spend so much time with these father-son type of moments hyping up the energy between them. Even the Armorer at the end of Season 1 said that Mando was like his father now. I believe the giant creatures that are all walking around in the distance behind them are brand new that they just created for this TV show. They didn't seem familiar from any of the other series before. They have a nice gunslinger standoff moment where Mando walks up to the city gates and meets Michael Biehn's character. They sort of acknowledge each other as different warriors. Oh, you're another bounty hunter from the guild. Okay, you're allowed to enter. When he walks through the city, they try to draw a lot of parallels to Navarro from Season 1, Episode 1, with Werner Herzog's Imperial character ruling over the city, because it's the same situation. The Empire came in, took over the city, and now they're running things, kind of running them into the ground, so to speak. Like, he also walks past a spit roasting a bunch of small animals. He did the same thing during Season 1, Episode 1, when he walked past all the roasting Kowakian monkey lizards, the salacious crumb animals. Once he makes it to the Magistrate, you notice that they have a couple HK-87 assassin droids, which are kind of references to Knights of the Old Republic in HK-47. Different model, but it's kind of the IG-11 twist from Season 1. Like, they're referencing IG-88 from Empire Strikes Back, but it's IG-11, a different model of that same type of droid. This is also one of many Old Republic, even Knights of the Old Republic references during this season so far, so it's almost like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are huge fans of the video games, as they should be. This is the way. And when Mando is talking about the A350 blaster rifles that the guards are all holding, those are actually from Rogue One. He starts meeting the townspeople who don't want to have anything to do with him. The person who talks to him, that father, is actually the former governor of the settlement that was deposed when the Empire showed up. So at the end of the episode, they're kind of giving him his title back, giving him back control of the city. But like I said, because they're trying to make a lot of references to the original pilot episode, they make a lot of parallels between the female magistrate character and Werner Herzog's character. They both put a bounty out on a Force-sensitive character. It's just that during Episode 1, the bounty was for Grogu, and now the bounty is for Ahsoka. And the prize in both cases was very valuable Beskar. It's just that this time the Beskar is in the form of a spear, pure Beskar. Michael Biehn's mercenary character makes a joke about Grogu when Mando says, "Oh, what's this? Oh, I keep him around for luck. Oh, you're gonna need it." That's just a reference to pretty much any of Michael Biehn's iconic movies. Like, think about it. You have Aliens, Terminator, K2, even Tombstone, all situations where luck played a very important role, them going into impossible situations, most of them not making it out, and in the case of Terminator, him actually dying. When he passes through all these trees, you actually notice the owl here. I think that's meant to be an Easter egg for Mirai, who's an owl that's connected to the daughter of the Force inside the World Between Worlds, that special owl that shows up during Rebels. But then he heads off to find Ahsoka, and it becomes Mando versus Ahsoka. She gets the drop on him pretty easily after he sets Grogu down nearby and starts looking at the giant creatures in the distance. They play up a lot of Easter eggs and references to the Jedi-Mandalorian Wars and the Clone Wars when they're fighting. You can tell Ahsoka Tano is a much better fighter, much more capable than he is. She sort of runs circles around him and uses a lot of his moves against him because she spent a lot of time with Mandalorians, Bo-Katan during the Clone Wars. She knows their tactics and, like I said, is still one of the most powerful Force users left in the galaxy. He finally uses his flamethrower again, trusty flamethrower. He broke his streak the past few episodes. During Season 1 and at least the first few episodes of Season 2, he used it in every single episode. It's like his favorite weapon. Then finally, Ahsoka meets Grogu and gives us his entire backstory, and it's way more information than I ever expected them to give us. They spend the rest of the day into nightfall just sort of silently communicating with each other through the Force telepathically. A lot of people wondered what his name was going to be. They said that on the show they knew what it was during Season 1. They'd already picked it, but it was just a question of when they were finally going to reveal it. So I love the fact that he doesn't do this verbally. I know early on when people started calling him Baby Yoda, they wondered if he were to speak out loud, would he also have the same backwards style speech that Yoda speaks with, or would he speak like a normal person? The way they played this episode, it makes it seem like we're never going to hear him actually speak out loud for the duration of the Mandalorian series, like he'll always just communicate with other characters telepathically through the Force. Ahsoka clarifies a whole bunch of details about how he fits into the Star Wars canon and how smart he is, how much Jedi training he's had previously, where he came from originally, and what's going on with him in the future. So really big stuff. He was raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant for quite a while, trained by several Jedi Masters over the years. He's 50 years old, so a lot of Jedi Masters would have come and gone in that time, meaning that he did know Master Yoda. But I know everyone kind of wonders, is he Yoda's child? So obviously this confirms that he's not a clone, he's just another member of Yoda and Yaddle's species, even though Ahsoka says she only knew Master Yoda. She didn't know Yaddle. She said, I only knew one other of his kind. His name was Yoda. The way he explains Order 66 to Ahsoka is that all he knows is that someone, he doesn't say who, took him into hiding to protect him when Anakin Skywalker was going around killing all the other Jedi in the temple. Then for some reason, there's this stretch of time where his memories go dark and he just feels incredibly lonely, alone, until the Mando showed up during Season 1. The other really cool thing about his backstory is that he was actually born the same year that Anakin Skywalker was born. So had Anakin Skywalker not died during Return of the Jedi, they'd both be in their early 50s right now. Also really cool music Easter egg too, because Star Wars music is so important. When she starts talking about Master Yoda, they actually start playing Yoda's theme music from Empire Strikes Back. Then when she starts asking Mando whether or not Grogu can still use the Force, she starts making some Obi-Wan Kenobi references. She gives him the same speech that Obi-Wan gave Luke about the nature of the Force.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power.
She gets really sad when she starts talking about the fall of the Jedi. There's a lot of layers baked into that sadness cake because she's talking about the fall of the Jedi Order at the hands of the Emperor with Order 66, but she's also referencing the time she left the Jedi Order by choice because she became so disillusioned during the Clone Wars. Then she gives Grogu his big Jedi training montage test. So obviously this is meant to be a callback to Yoda training Luke during Empire Strikes Back with the levitating rocks. When she says, "I sense much fear in you," obviously that's a reference to Yoda talking to Luke before he went into the cave. "Much fear I sense in you." But then she makes a whole bunch of Anakin Skywalker Darth Vader references when she says, "I can't train him because he's so attached to you. I've seen what that can do to fully train Jedi Knights," obviously a reference to Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. So when she says she can't train him, she's just saying that she doesn't want to create another Darth Vader. The Rise of Darth Grogu. Somebody's going to be writing that fan fiction on Tumblr soon. The bargain he finally makes with her, though, is that she'll train him if he helps her with her Empire problem and get the information that she needs from the Magistrate. The way she explains the Magistrate is she was actually just a normal person during the Clone Wars whose people were killed off, just twisting her into darkness like Anakin Skywalker became twisted to the dark side and became Darth Vader. She then went on to work for Grand Admiral Thrawn, helping plunder worlds around the galaxy using the riches that they gained from each of these planets to fund the creation of the Imperial Starfleet. That's also a callback to the Bo-Katan, Moff Gideon, Darksaber storyline. I think Bo-Katan also used the word plunder when talking about what happened to the planet Mandalore during the Mandalorians Purge. So again, it's just them tying all these different storylines with major characters together with an overarching storyline. When they head back to town, Mando makes more jokes about Mandalorians and Jedi working together, more callbacks to the Knights of the Old Republic era. Then under cover of night, they make their attack. Ahsoka jumps the battlements pretty easily. I do like the way that they pulled off a lot of these practical fight special effects. Obviously, there's a lot of CG involved in this too, but you're never quite sure what it's going to look like till you actually see it happen, and they did a really good job with the stunts. So I am happy with the overall expression of Ahsoka's character. She moves like you would expect Ahsoka to move. They have a couple big gunslinger standoff moments. Then you have the Ahsoka versus the Magistrate fight. Obviously the Beskar steel resistant to lightsabers. That's why they set that up earlier in the episode with Mando's fight with Ahsoka and her not being able to penetrate his Beskar steel armor. She finally calls out our new big bad's name. "Where is your master? Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?" Letting us know that he's going to eventually show up in live action. And Mando manages to take down Michael Biehn's character. Now, during all these fights, obviously they rescue the prisoners, they make a couple aliens references with the way Ahsoka moves and takes out all of Michael Biehn's men. They have a bit of a Michael Biehn tombstone reference in their final standoff. He played one of the villain gunslingers, Johnny Ringo, in that movie, who was taken down by Doc Holliday in a very similar gunslinger standoff moment that they had during the episode. But talking about some of the larger implications for Grand Admiral Thrawn, I did a video earlier this week just speculating on how he might show up on the series because of some other things that they were doing. Like if Ahsoka's coming back from the unknown regions, it also means that Thrawn probably survived. And I know a lot of you are now asking, because if Thrawn is back in the Outer Rim somewhere, does that mean that Ezra came back with him? I think it's heavily implied that we'll see him at some point in live action, but no idea who'd be playing that character or when he would show up. We don't even know when Grand Admiral Thrawn himself is going to show up on the series. Hopefully they'll call back to that before the series finale, but I think a lot of that will also get into the potential Ahsoka spin-off series that they've talked about doing. But the next morning after they finish freeing all the townspeople, she gives him the Beskar spear and says this belongs with the Mandalorian, even though he jokes about not completing the job. "I didn't kill you, I didn't complete the bounty." This is also meant to be another callback to the Bo-Katan Darksaber storyline with Moff Gideon. It belongs with a Mandalorian. But Ahsoka does give him a new mission to go to the ancient Jedi Temple on the planet Tython. A lot of you who played the Old Republic game probably recognize this because it's a big location during that game, and it actually shows up in the Darth Bane novels. But according to the games, this ancient Jedi temple at Tython is supposed to be the location of the birth of the Jedi Order, which I know is kind of confusing because during The Last Jedi, they say that Luke Skywalker is at the original Jedi temple on Ahch-To. So which one is the original Jedi temple? Where was the place where the Jedi Order was born? I think the best way to interpret that is that Tython is just one of the original Jedi temples, one of the oldest ones in the galaxy. But he's supposed to place him on the Seeing Stone at the top of the mountain, which is kind of like the place where Luke Skywalker was sitting at the top of the Jedi Temple when he was force projecting himself, and he'll choose his path. But what he's going to be doing, though, think about it this way, is sort of setting off a beacon in the Force around the entire galaxy that any Force user that's powerful enough will be able to detect and track down. Now, that includes good Force users like former Jedi that survived the Purge, but it also includes other powerful dark side Force users like Sith or former Inquisitors that could find him as well. It's just like setting off a giant air horn in the Force around the entire galaxy, letting everyone know where you're at. So Ahsoka is just telling him that there are other Jedi out there that will eventually meet on the series. Obviously that's a reference to Ezra Bridger, but it's also the potential for them to introduce other characters from anywhere else in the canon that they want. So any potential Jedi that survived the Purge could now show up on the series. But then as Mando goes off to the planet Tython and the ancient Jedi Temple, Ahsoka goes back to her mission to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. So the idea is that there's so many storylines that they tease during this that are so big with so many characters, they probably will cover some of this on some of the spin-off series. But wherever they do show up, yes, I do now think that we'll see live-action Ezra Bridger and live-action Sabine Wren eventually. If you spotted any other big Easter eggs or references during the episode that I didn't mention during the video, just write them below in the comments. Because there were so many big teasers for upcoming characters and storylines, I'll try to do bonus videos for all of them over the next couple of days, but leave all your specific requests on the video. Which of those do you want me to do first? Everyone click here for that new Grand Admiral Thrawn Mandalorian video that I posted a little while ago, and click here for my full Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 4 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.